I studied agricultural development when I was doing my master. And then in Oxfam, I worked for Oxfam Hong Kong, and I did a lot of work related to livelihood issues, particularly livelihood in rural area, and agriculture is one of the most important part of it. So I got into interest of looking at food issue, agricultural issue, as part of the household security in relation to food, in relation to income, in relation to how they use their land. Most of them live on land. So this interest brought me to Cuba, where I think I could learn a lot from them. Just from books that I read before about Cuba's changes, how they reformed their agricultural practices in the 90s. So I went there with a lot of curiosity. I won't say that everybody believes in sustainable agriculture, ecological farming, even though a lot of them work in the government, say that they believe in it, but in fact, when they plan, they don't plan according to what they believe. But you can see some parts of the whole society. You can see farmers and researchers and some very open-minded politicians. They come together and look at ecological agriculture is the way to go, the way to resolve the problem, the economic crisis, the food crisis. And at the same time, I will say that still, if you look at the land composition, you still have a bit of land in relation to state farm. And that relates to growing sugarcane, still have sugarcane and some potato. Those are the areas they usually will tell you that they need more conventional input, I mean chemical fertilizers and pesticide in those areas, especially for example, weeding, some chemicals for weeding. And also, they will tell you that they don't have enough labor, and that is true. I wrote in my book that labor is such a problem right now for the country. They have a lot of idle land, but not sufficient labor to take it into productive land. We wrote a book on GM food in 2010 and asking the question, who lose and who gain? We see Cuba has so much potential to become, an island free of GMO. If the government actually commercializes it, I will see there's a lot of impact on the reputation it gained on ecological farming. I could see that sometimes when I look at the system, the capitalist side, how we can actually merge. And I could see that, yes, in Cuba, when you have a bit of capital, maybe those who want to, open a shop to be independent, they could actually open a small shop. And also their service is actually quite good because, for example, you have a salon, you have more people cutting hair. People can, need to buy these services. They are serving a good function. And we say that they are capitalists, they want to earn more money, so we don't want them to exist. So I think bit by bit, Cuba is learning small businesses actually will help better distribution of food, of services. And if you put a tax system there, people pay tax, so why not? They also can provide tests to the government, those small businesses. Okay. So these kind of things I would think that will fit Cuba. I specify one kind of cooperative which has loose organization. That means more autonomy by each unit of the farm. They put their resources together, and then they got this, collective service. But they found that they have their own farm. Each unit is managed by a family. For example, I talk about this kind of co-op. Is the way to go because they're highly productive, better than the other bigger cooperative. So I would think that the government actually has provided a direction to grow this kind of small and effective cooperative. So I will see more and more of these cooperatives will actually lead the country's food policy and could increase better yield and more food for the society. So that is the way to go. I would think that these small cooperatives work effectively because they share some collective equipment and they can get loans together. They also symbolize collectivism, working together, solidarity. And also right now all the policies geared to fit this kind of cooperatives, versus like an individual farmer finding much harder to survive. If you read through my books, individual farmers actually have more difficult to get resources than these small cooperatives because the government actually channel more resources to them. A socialist way to improve food situation together. So I do see the point and be in the shoes of the Cuban people and look at these things, but I also see a lot of conflicting ideas. Things are not, neatly put into a puzzle. It's all not in place.
Right.
In many other areas, what we talk about, for example, the farm input market is non-existent, and sometimes some system is not effective. And Cuba also has experimented on, GM food, and labor is very much in a scarce way that affect agriculture. So all these things, I think not many people mention them in a way that there are significant issues that will impact on food situation alone.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would like to actually put in everything on the table and look at it and see how we make sense of it. And I do hope that later on people continue to document it.
Okay.
And then see how the lessons learned to be shared with the other countries. Because a lot of people, especially from Latin America, come to Cuba and see a lot of, if you come for a short visit, you see all the, positive things, and you don't see the kind of like conflicting views in this agricultural sector. And I see that my duty, my responsibility, being there for a long time, is to put a picture with different dimensions, to look at the picture at different dimensions.